Storm, Team Liquid get a solid double support team composition and just completely stomp it. But at the same time, I'd love to see Team Freedom continue making those adjustments and not let Liquid get those comfort picks.
All right, time for game number 2. At the moment, Team Freedom leads 1-0 over Team Liquid. Keep those HGC cheers coming in over in the chat as Team Freedom needs your support to round this out.
I am curious to see if Team Freedom's going to leave Ariel up. They grabbed Ariel on this battleground. They seem to have a high priority for her here. But the thing is, so does Team Liquid. Team Liquid, now having the opportunity, should move into it. And they do. So I want to see what different game plan Team Freedom will have on this battleground. Because yesterday, they showed off the Vala Ariel with the Diva mix against Nomia. And while it was great, Team Liquid's not going to give them the option.
I love that they opt in to pick the Anubarak and Greymane. Both of those heroes have good matchups into Oriel. Although I am a little bit disheartened seeing Freedom let Team Liquid get their comfort picks with the Oriel double support style composition. I anticipate Liquid will round it out with, in the game versus Tempo, they ended up going Rhaegar, Lunara.
Yeah.
There's many permutations that they could go with, but we'll actually have to end up seeing.
I mean, Oriel was banned out in game number 1. As soon as Oof is taken away, cool, we just flex between those 2 different supports. Comfort heroes, as you mentioned, for Splendor. And I mean, if they do want to transition into the likes of a Gul'dan to try and counter the dive, does exceptionally well with the Oriel's appearing.
I feel like Team Freedom has prepared for this set immensely well. I almost feel like they let the Oriel through as a sort of trap. I anticipate Freedom goes with Stukov on the back end of this draft to sort of match the sustain of the double support while still having the threat of the one-shot with the Anub Greymane. Is pretty interesting. I'm thinking pretty far ahead of myself right here, but there we go. There's the Lunara Rhaegar as expected. Now, I'd say Freedom, is looking to go with the Stukov on the back end of this draft. Great matchups into the opening from Liquid. Right now, I'm super happy with Freedom.
Having that range, being able to lock down that Ariel, hopefully get the silence on him when an Age is supposed to come out, could be great. Also, right away with Nara being picked up by Team Liquid, this kind of makes Team Freedom think twice about going into multiple melees on this battleground. Diva in particular, while a pretty strong pseudo-tank to a degree, does have a hard time with Lunara's poison. She can be burned down pretty quickly, so we'll see if that is even an option for Team Freedom now with Lunara already being chosen.
I'm having trouble containing my excitement, guys. I'm so pumped for Team Freedom. I'm actually shaking at the desk here. This draft, I think it's beautiful so far. I'm really curious to see what they ban going into the second phase. I'm sure they're going to be targeting Blumby here already with the Stitches and Anub being taken away. He's going to be put on something he's slightly more uncomfortable on.
Right.
We haven't seen him on another pick, from what I understand.
Yeah, which is what I want to say, right? Just try and draft out Blumby and see where he can go. They take out the Johanna for the wave clear, so potentially forcing him onto that Diablo, but I want to see the response from Team Liquid. You're adamant it's going to be a Stukov. Whether or not they think it's the case is what I'm quite curious on.
I wonder if, Chromie Hover. Greymane Chromie on this map is a very powerful combination.
Yeah.
The amount of poke you can get as well as one-shot potential is huge, while Chromie is still a safe pick. Gives you vision of rotations, but I don't anticipate Freedom needs to prioritize a support on this rotation. I think they should get their, I like to call it the janitor, the side lane hero that's really good at cleaning up the map, right?
And whenever a Chromie is either banned or picked and Trickster is here, I still always have to mention that Bye-Bye is rubbish. Please do continue.
Bye-Bye is rubbish.
There you go.
Please,
Thank you.
please do continue.
Trickster?
My mic's broken.
That's fine.
I have no statement here.
I wanted to point out, you got really excited when you saw the Johanna being banned away there. What do you know that we don't?
Oh, she's insane.
Mostly just that they targeted Blumby on that rotation. I feel like that was so smart. They do end up going with the Malfurion. Alarak, it's going to be Cure on Alarak. This is something we haven't seen from him before, but I've played against him in Hero League numerous times. This is one of his most played heroes. He's very frightening when it comes to this. So they opt in, instead of trying to out-sustain Team Liquid's double support, to go with the one-shot style composition.
I mean, they obviously are targeting the tank role here too. I mean, Alarak is actually pretty good against Tyrael, and Tyrael's another mainstay that you'll go to for Team Liquid. But he runs Diablo, he also runs Muradin. Blumby actually has a pretty sick Muradin, so the options are available for him. I mean, this obviously is a game plan as they continue to go down the route. I just wonder if it'll pay off for them, especially with Team Liquid now getting double support, which they have been exceptional on in the past, and they finally get it in the tournament on Tuma Spider Queen. It's a bit of a gamble to me.
But you want to net yourself a win. You don't want a series go to a tournament and suddenly think, well, where do we go from here? There's a lot of pressure really put onto you there. ETC and Dahaka is the lock-in for Team Liquid to round out this 5-man roster.
One thing I would like to point out as well, Freedom did have a lot of preparation and insight throughout their game plan, clearly with the Johanna ban. Johanna's one of the better tanks when it comes to playing versus Alarak, so I feel like they had a lot of foresight, right? I feel like they kind of anticipated this is the way the draft would go. However, the ETC Dahaka does put a lot of pressure on Team Freedom to execute the game perfectly.
When we have seen the Alarak on this map specifically, we've seen two variations of it. One where you go for the Jaina for extra damage, one with the Lucia, but they go for the D.Va. They're saying if you ban away the Stitches, we'll still pick this one up. You don't ban it, we take it.
I love that they're bringing out the D.Va in this situation. We saw D.Va from them once yesterday, but I can't overstate how strong Nazmaz is on this hero.
All right, so looking at these drafts, as you see them, Tim, I'm going to start with you. Who do you think's got the better end of the stick?
It's a hard one. I mean, I look over to Team Liquid, and I see something that I know that they can run well. They have Dahaka here, who we can see any of their players run. Nurok, of course, Darkmok as well. But on the right side, I see Alarak and D.Va, and my oddball heart just screams, I want to see this do well.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to go ahead and just vote for Team Liquid here. They seem to have a very strong setup, and they have great punishing tools with the ETC engage.
Jimmy?
I mean, looking at Team Liquid, they've got the Lunara, which arguably has a lot of value against a lot of the heroes on the roster of Freedom. So I think it really relies on how he plays around a double support, if he can actually output the damage to make himself effective enough to put a 1-0 score back on the side of Liquid. But based on the momentum and based on me wanting to see NA actually do something this tournament, I'm going for Freedom.
Yeah, clearly, I'm having trouble remaining unbiased as well. The last game was super exciting.
Yeah.
I think that Team Freedom got what they wanted and got what they prepared for. I'm Team Freedom all the way. Let's go, boys.
All right, well, thank you very much, gents, as we are almost ready here for game number 2. As Team Freedom currently 1 game up against Team Liquid. It would be a big upset if they go 2 games up here to start things off in this best of 5. Let's head over to the commentary team.
Well, looking at the panel, I think we have Trixler by now very deep in the European camp, where I can completely understand that Skimmy still has some animosity towards the British in particular, but therefore also to Europeans, so I don't hold it against you that you side with Americans here. But let's be honest, Freedom was impressive on the first map.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I don't even know what to expect with them in this game now. With the way and the change in the drastic day and night play that they seem to be displaying not only at this Western Clash, I'm suddenly like, do they just body this game? Do they have the struggles I would naturally assume them to have? Because, you know, the wave clear isn't necessarily the strongest for a map like Tomb.
For me, it's a bit the same with Liquid. We've been talking over and over again about how we oftentimes do not know which Liquid shows up. Then they come to the tournament, and their first games, they look strong, they look competitive, and they look concentrated again. And then the last map happens. And now I'm once again sitting there, and I don't know what to expect, but we're going to find out. Can Liquid bring this back as they are moving into game number 2 on Tomb of the Spider Queen? We have them to the left. Liquid with Norok on the Haka, Hazobs on Oriel, Splendor on Rega, Darkmok on Lunara, and Blumby on ETC.
In the red, 1 game up over Europe is going to be Team Freedom. Zugrug is on Nubarak, Collusion on Malfurion, Nazmus is on the D.Va, Greymade played Daidansky, and the Alaret is obviously Cure, looking to carry here with that telekinesis silence combo.
Game 1 had to be a wake-up call for Team Liquid, and they need to show right now that they are able to take Freedom down. But as our panel said, Freedom has the momentum now, and they were looking strong on Sky Temple. Cure on the Alarak, as you said, if he gets those combos off, he has so much potential to turn these fights in their favor.
And though we have not seen much D.Va throughout this tournament, everybody has been talking about getting Team Freedom off of their comfort picks, and that in fact is exactly one of them. The D.Va has been a staple for them in the North American scene, and they didn't even struggle throughout all of NA if they managed to be able to pick up this hero. They constantly were dominating without the region. So, you know, do they have the skills with it to be able to capitalize even on a European team? We'll find out here.
I'm really excited for this one. Already, the rotation that we see between mid and top from the 4-man on the side of Team Freedom looking strong. We have down to the bot lane D.Va, but of course, yeah, once again, Zagrug on the Beetle in a bit of trouble. He goes down. It's the first blood as Liquid squishes the Beetle.
Liquid got the wake-up call, but maybe on the wrong side of the bed because Splendor getting punished elsewhere.
You get the kill in the middle and you feel good, and then a second later your support dies top lane. Not quite what they wanted. Great for Freedom getting the counter kill immediately. And still in the meantime, at that bot lane, we are seeing at this point a double pressure against D.Va.
Again, Freedom is displayed in this game by being able to pick off Splendor there, that if they realize they are struggling in a different angle of the map, they will try to be aggressive elsewhere. Yeah. And they put on an absolute showcase on Sky Temple, and it's nice to see it still here. Beautiful route, telekinesis, silence. Blumby is receiving so much damage, and Dansky claws it out, gets the kill.
Dansky going in and delivering, but Splendor is high on his heels and wants to jump, and he gets it. Wolf against Wolf, and Rhaegar turns out to be superior, but this is not over just yet. Collusion walking away. Nazma still in the middle of things, but able to boost out.
Absolutely huge impale there from Zugrug. The only reason Collusion had the time to drop that route and save himself. So, a lot of action here, but in the end, we are almost dead even. The gems, 20-20. 10 have been turned in here for Team Liquid, giving them a minor advantage, but the experience, it's just, these teams are so evenly matched.
At this point, they definitely are. Here comes the drag, though. Once again, a nice move on the side of ETC. The silence comes in. They're trying to go for Cure, but already we're seeing Collusion with the roots on the ground immediately. Zugrug moves in, tries to help. Cooldowns for Liquid, not ready. Detainment Strike comes in, but of no consequence as Team Freedom moves away as a unit.
That was a really beautiful synergy. They're coming out from Cure to attempt that fight. He actually used it. Wait a minute here. With the telekinesis down, is Blumby going to get that power slide on out? Drag
comes in. Blumby is a bit low here, but the rest of Liquid on the move. Nazmaz also joining the fun, but once again, the two of them moving away. 2 kills on each side overall. But also Norok with a beautiful dodge.
Yeah, it was very well done. And Freedom now, they have to feel a little bit sad the fact that this game is even in terms of the kills, just because their composition is so offensive. They have made up for their lack of wave player on Collusion by trying to go into that Moonburn at level 1 and help aid there. But overall, these Web Weavers should by far be more effective for Team Liquid with their style of composition, having that double support Lunara.
And they're only 4 coins away, 4 gems away from making it happen. So right now, Freedom is attempting to deny it to them, but Liquid is looking at the bot at the top for potential lockdown. Nice roots once again. Here comes the combo. Blumby is moving out, but in the wrong direction. The rest of the team is already moving in as the heal comes in from Oriel. Already they're attempting to get the kill, but there comes D.Va. The explosion splitting the team.
Cure's keeping going in. He gets the telekinesis, the silence is going to be dropped. Impale too, but with the double support, it is enough to keep the Hasawabs alive.
Cure is so on point with these telekinesis into the roots over and over again. I'm loving the synergy that she shows with Malfurion.
I was trying to bring it up before until we had some action going on. His telekinesis with the Anubarak burrow charge over, he actually put himself in riskier position to make sure he helped Anubarak get a 3-man burrow charge knockup. And if we see him keep doing that, that might be a next level Alarak play I've never seen anybody in the world do.
It's awesome. I'm loving it. If he keeps that up on this level, that would be amazing. So Cure definitely showcasing his skills here. But he can't prevent what Team Liquid was working for so hard. The turn-in is finally there as Team Liquid gets the first Web Weaver wave.
And now we can expect Freedom most likely will want to try and find a way beyond those Spider Web Weavers and try and force a fight. Nurok moves in after seeing the telekinesis, unable to find himself any of the members of Team Freedom. And we'll see what Liquid opts to do. Again, with the superior laning phase that they generally have with this, they don't have to clump as a 5-man like we often see with the first Web Weaver phase.
Also keep in mind that on 7, the Strangling Vines on Malfurion are greatly helpful when we are trying to take a target down. And the way that Cure has been playing, attempting to prepare these kills for the rest of his team, this could definitely be a huge issue once that Greymane starts to move in as well. But for now, Liquid is the team pushing, trying to break down the walls here, especially, of course, in their mid lane.
Managed to find themselves a bit of the experience advantage with these Web Weavers. It's going to find itself about a full level before they are done. Actually, with bottom being now survivable and the members of Team Liquid focusing on it, it's going to be more than just one level, but Freedom does not want to give it up easily. Blumby with a power slide does not land. 2-man knock-up in the silence. You see Nazmus go back to human form.
The kill!
Beautiful. Absolute punishment there to the confidence that Nazmus displayed, and Liquid is closing in onto the 10. They're on full retreat here for Freedom, and they still haven't cleaned up the Web Weavers.
Yeah, Liquid on this map, way more aggressive, way more dominant and posturing on the map than they did on the first map. First map, Freedom comes out swinging, and this time Liquid saying, guys, we can't play this passive. We are the ones who are making the plays here. We are not playing their game, they are playing ours.
And it very much is going to be Liquid's game for the next couple of minutes. There's Freedom may be able to sneak a turn in, but even if they do so, they can't make anything happen with the Web Weavers. It's in their best interest to try and just stall, stop the bleeding, and then turn in post 10.
Gilly and I had a bit of a discussion about it, and she said that North American teams struggle to get double turn-ins. They're a little bit weak also stopping these snowballs, and that's what Liquid is trying to do. That's what Europe is known for. Here comes the explosion trying to go for the zone. Can they steal the camp away? It looks very much like they will. Freedom can't move in. The camp is stolen. They put the pressure into the middle. And Liquid has the gems to go for the double turn-in after this.
Yeah, she wasn't wrong when it came to North America and the ability to stack that double stack. Ever since Fnatic innovated so heavily on Tomb of the Spider Queen long ago, all the way, I won't even say DreamHack Valencia, it seems like Europe mastered the map due to the pressure that they applied with the unique strategies that they had. And since then, NA has constantly been trying to figure out how to deal with this. I would argue the only team maybe that could even close to rival the European teams out of North America. I mean, I hate to say it, but Glarong in Roll 20, we've been giving them banter all day. It's hard to give them the credit.
All right, what did he promise you?
I mean, but they really do play this map far better than most North American teams. And we see that in Showcase right here for Freedom.
I mean, just think back 2 minutes. We had both of them on the same level. The game was absolutely even. We were praising especially Cure for those amazing setups that he was making possible with Alarak. Right now, we're just 2 minutes in. All of a sudden, a double turn in. They're getting their kills, and Liquid is 2 levels ahead before the Web Weavers get value. Liquid right now does this how most of the European teams are trying to play the map. They are going for the momentum. They are trying to just snowball the map heavily, especially here in the mid lane. They aim for 13.
Guys, it's just now Freedom has got to do their best, try and rid of the Web Weavers. If they get a pick here or there, that is going to be convenient for themselves. But most importantly, is trying to get the turn in afterwards and willing to be able to take a fight Talontier down. Because right now, the best fight that they're going to have is the 10 into 13, and you never want your opponents to be able to pick up that 16. Maybe the 13-15 fight a couple minutes out, but are you really willing to risk that much time against a team as strong as Team Liquid and so far ahead here on Tomb?
Also, a massive problem is that Freedom hasn't broken through the walls yet. It's not only about the forts that are still there for Liquid. You have fountains on every lane that you can use whenever you have to back off from a fight, and then you can attempt to chase, especially with the Haka. Getting a burrow in, for example, and locking someone down, dragging him back into the battle. So Freedom has a very risky stance on the map right now. It's very difficult for them to move out that far since their distance to safety has immeasurably increased now. And
Lunara's slow with Thornwood Vine, you never, you just don't want to deal with that. Essentially, she kind of makes everyone an Illidan style composition. You know, if she ends up getting a huge slow onto everyone, your Freedom just goes, all right, we're dead. Either that or we take the fight right now. And with the disadvantage in experience and talents, it's unlikely they're going to be successful in that adventure.
I love this and how they execute it. Liquid takes camps on both lanes and then they go for boss. They do not only have the talent advantage, with D.Va on the other side, the Explosion and Cocoon, they take the camps first and say, if you try and contest us at boss, we simply move back and hold you at the top lane, and then our camps are going to get massive amounts of value. Well, the only goal that you have is denying the boss to us. So at this point, Freedom decides to clear the lanes, but they give up the boss at the top lane, and now Liquid has more and more pressure on the map. But at least Freedom was able to get the turn in, which relieves some of the pressure.
Yeah, it's now, how much does Liquid get done in terms of clearing the Web Weavers while Freedom is so unluckily stuck there into the top lane? That's a lot of the questions that we have to ask here, because you do not want to waste those 50 gems, especially knowing that boss is down. I often times talk about in the North American scene how the map of Tomb of the Spider Queen, win conditions do not come along nearly as easy as some of the other maps, especially with our failure to get that double turn in. Yeah. And so now that boss is gone, the Web Weavers we ended up wasting a lot of, and we're barely in range to be able to get a secondary turn in. You'd never want to find yourself in that area, and Freedom now is just clawing.
Their big hope is the 13 talent fight. They are so close to the talent, so once they can go in for that, they can make these plays. Let's not forget how deadly their comp is. If Liquid just at some point has a single hero out of position, immediately there is the Malfurion with the Strangling Vines, there will be Cure ready with Alarak, and Greymane delivering the kill. So Liquid can't slack, not even for a second, but Liquid tries to move in. Here comes Norok, dodging the route, trying to. Blumby goes in, aims for the isolation. They attempt to get the drag, and they do. They go for Cure. Cure attempting to survive this, but the mosh pit, it's interrupted. The Ancestor goes through though. Blumby not dying, but Alarak does. That's the kill Liquid was looking for. Nurok isn't done.
He's got the drag ice block, but it's only stalling time. Beautiful kills coming left and right for Team Liquid, and they are looking absolutely solid. Gonna walk up to this keep front wall with 2-level lead. Maybe another kill here as Zugrug gets caught out.
And Nubarak dying as we have Punmaster Dr. Dread delivering line after line. Team Liquid with a solid performance here, moving to the keep right now. And they are looking strong, closing in on 16 at this point. Liquid angry after game number 1.
And I originally, when we were talking about the boss decision out of Team Liquid, I was beginning to wonder, would it come back to haunt them again because of that difficulty in finding win conditions, with a dominant performance in that last team fight by picking themselves up the last keep, and more importantly, closing in on what could be, I mean, maybe even a final Webweaver phase if they find themselves a couple of kills.
I absolutely love the coordination in the last fight. You have the plan to go in with the Haka and prepare the flank, and then as the Haka tries to drag, Bloomby understands immediately, I have to create space. I need to make sure they cannot save Alarak. First of all, we're seeing immediately from Freedom, the Cocoon coming out, trying to prevent the worst. But there's ETC dropping a mosh pit just on a sole attempt to slow them down. And of course, Rhaegar understands immediately, I have to make sure while my team kills Alarak that ETC doesn't die, and they do all of that. Once again, the drag coming in, the detainment strike as a follow-up. Liquid moving in deep with Blumby starting to go into the heart of the enemy's coordination.
Oh man, that power slide and the knockback. Twilight Dream's gonna be dropped, but already Zugrug is removed. Ice block, it's a matter of time before we find Collusion going down. Nasmus throws down the thrusters, he escapes, but 2 members of Freedom no longer are with us, and it's now a full 3-level lead. It's just, what is Freedom going to do? They have to win one of these fights.
And Nurok looks angry right now. I mean, he's on fire with these flanks, those drags the entire time. He dodges everything they fire at him. He's just sitting there saying, hey, come at me, I don't care. I got you. Drag after drag delivers kill after kill, and we're looking at 9 against 2 right now. A 3-level lead for Team Liquid. And you said it best earlier. The next Webweaver wave might be the last.
Yeah, Freedom is too far out of reach for that 16 talent tier. If this was like 15 and a half, you might say, you know, you stall it out, maybe lose a keep, get the 16, and there's a longer duration of the game. But Cure on an absolute island here.
Oh, the detainment strike again. Pressured into the wall, hammered into the ground as Liquid gets kill number 10.
Mid keep. Not even. Liquid doesn't care. They're just, this is the Webweavers. They've got the Giants behind it.
They want the core.
They want it.
And they have everything they need. They have the 3-level lead. This is 4 levels right now on a stat advantage. The crowd is already cheering. They are hyped for a potential finish in game number 2 as the Webweavers moves in. Here comes D.Va though, pushed away, trying to save at least the Webweaver, and they do. Beautiful play by Hazobs on the Oriole here, negating some of the value, but it's a 5 versus 5. The problem for Freedom, they are still a talent down, but Freedom have at least for now hold on to their core. The mid lane, on the other hand, that's where they keep us under pressure.
And D.Va, after the pressure onto the mecha, Nurok immediately with the drag over and over again. How? Like, D.Va is essentially useless in this entire game because Nurok is so on point with the crowd control. And the threat of Blumby with the mosh pit, rarely have we seen too many mosh pits in this game, or at least the ones, you know, the 1 versus 5 miracle ones, but he is constantly putting himself positioning-wise into an area where Freedom is second-guessing. Can we go in? Because a power slide mosh might be the beginning and the end.
And you talked about Nurok. There's a lot of banter between North America and Europe, and Nurok is one of these players that has said over and over again, I do not want to lose to North America. I do not want to lose there. It would be the worst thing for me. And he is currently playing his heart out, saying, if we lose this, it's not going to be on me. He is connecting every single drag that he pushes out. Freedom has the 16. They know that there's a fight for boss. They are trying to move in, but they're just a tiny bit too late.
Yeah, and with the 19 closing in, the 28 up to the last keep standing, honestly, the best fight here for Freedom has got to be beyond the boss.
Yeah.
You don't want to back out towards the core, and if you do, you want to fight them at least off the core, and the boss is at half health. Everything here for Freedom has to be perfect if they were going to stall out this
You
game.
need to dive past that boss and try to win that fight. This is the only chance you have, and they're going to try. But once again, we're seeing them moving in already. Blumby all the way up at the front. Nazmas is low on the mech. The boss wailing away at the keep here as Liquid is pushing in. Freedom looking for a chance, goes for the explosion. They don't hit anything. It's all about them trying to defend, but the keep is down. The boss moves in. Liquid looking for an opportunity.
After this turret might be able to pick up that 22, no, just out of range. But look at Liquid actually willing to back out here. Now the members of Freedom trying to force the fight before the 20 is going to hit. Nazmus already going in. The Cocoon dropped.
They're going in once again. The Cocoon is about to be blown away, but we
Mosh!
already see Bloomy in. The mosh pit! He gets the mosh pit! It's a 4-man mosh, there's no interrupt! That's the kill, the double! They go for the triple! Team Liquid moves in, takes down an Uberak. Do they know they finished Greymane first? They drop an Uberak. They have the core in their sights as Team Liquid moves forward to drop Team Freedom in game number 2.
Team Liquid showing that they are an absolute monster here. The synergy that they had in a unit, and what I was talking about, Blumby's positioning. He waited the whole game to find the game-winning mosh pit. So much patience, and in the end, Liquid shows why they've gotten such a dominant reputation.
Gets rewarded for the patience with